All right, so another thing that you want to play with during this waning moon phase is stuff we've talked about a lot before, but it bears repeating. And that is, if you want to create a prosperous life, you need to make room for it. So you are going to be working on creating a vacuum. And you can do a little bit at a day, a little bit at a time every day, or you can take one day and do it, or however you want to do it, but you're going to create a vacuum. That means you are going to go through your life and start cleaning out the clutter. Go through your car, go through your office, go through your closets, don't worry if you get all of it done. There's always another waning phase, but try to get some real decluttering done. Because that clutter represents clutter in your mind, and it's stuck energy, and you got to get rid of it. So people who hoard are very unprosperous people. So stop hoarding, okay? It doesn't mean you have to get rid of everything. Don't take it to an extreme, but go through and first of all, get things organized so you know where everything is. Organize your papers, organize your stuff, organize everything, and then get rid of stuff you don't really need. If it doesn't have any value to you at all, it might have value to somebody else. If it doesn't, then if you can sell it, sell it. If nothing else, then throw it away. Get rid of it, recycle it, do something to get it out of your life. If it has no value whatsoever, if it's just taking up space, it's actually robbing you of energy. So get it out. Get rid of that. Get rid of all the little. If you go to any pagan rituals, there's always a trinket that they give you, which is beautiful. I mean, it's wonderful. The little giveaways that you get all these little tokens and stuff. But I mean, after about a year's worth of tokens, you can get rid of the tokens. You don't need tokens from, Samhain 1982. It's okay to get rid of it. You don't need that. You don't need the birthday card that Aunt Helen sent you when you were 5, unless it really has some spiritual meaning or some significant sentiment of value to you. If you don't even like Aunt Helen, get rid of it. You don't need you don't need your tax returns from 1964. That's over. You only need to save your tax returns for so many years. Get rid of them. You don't need to keep all of those little things. Go through your refrigerator. Get rid of all those little bits of food that are wrapped in little pieces of tinfoil or that are gross. Clean out your life. Get rid of the gunk. Get rid of the clutter. If you need some help, ask somebody to help you with it. Tell them you'll trade. You'll say, I'll help you with yours if you help me with mine. Get your life clean. Declutter. While you're doing that, you also want to think about getting things in order. You want to find order. This is a great time. Again, work within what your current financial means are, because you can expand that sphere of influence. So don't go into spending a lot of money that doesn't feel comfortable. But if you have the means, this would be the time to go to like the Container Store or Target or something like that, and getting some organizing tools and get things organized. Okay? Go through everything and get things in order. While you're cleaning, decluttering, and organizing, you want to try to focus your mind on, I'm getting rid of the clutter in my mind. I'm organizing my mind. I'm organizing my aura. Okay, so you're doing this for a purpose. And I like the chant, I now let go conditions, relationships, and things that are worn out and run down, invisible or seen. Order is established, order so divine in every aspect of my life. Order now is mine. I just commit that to memory, and I chant it over and over and over again. And I take a couple hours every like 1 or 2 days a week, and get rid of the clutter in the obvious places. And I do that every waning moon, at least once or twice, during the waning moon phase. I will really focus on getting rid of stuff and getting things in order. If you don't do that, the magic has no place to manifest. You need to create a vacuum. Magical energy loves a vacuum, and magical energy loves order. So if you're not getting order in your life, you can't have order in your it has no place to manifest. Okay. So any questions on that? Pack rats, you are now going to PA, Pack Rats Anonymous. You're going to get rid of that stuff. I'm serious. Do it. If you don't do it, don't complain to me that you don't have the prosperity that you desire, because that is poverty. That is poverty activity. Pack ratting. And again, you don't have to get rid of everything. I'm not saying you have to be that clean, that slimmed down. Just get rid of the obvious stuff. Get rid of the top layer. Okay, just one little bit at a time. All right. The next thing that you're going to be looking at is any of you that are in debt. You're going to get out of debt this month. How is that possible? I owe $700,000 in credit card debt. It is possible. I don't care how much you owe. We're getting you out of debt this month. Okay? Woohoo! So you're going to take some time and you are going to go through all of your bills. Everything that you owe anybody. You're going to take a day and do that. It's probably not going to take you a day. It's probably going to take you an hour. It seems like such a big mammoth thing, but I don't care. I mean, you can have 50 debts and it's not going to take that long. You're going to take all that stuff. Now, if you're that disorganized, then before you can do this, you're going to have to do the other phase, what we were just talking about. You're going to have to get some file folders and a file cabinet. You can go through all your papers and get them in order. If you don't know what your debts are, you're going to have to get all your paperwork in order, or get onto the online websites for all of your creditors and print it out or write it down what the bottom line is that you owe everybody. You're going to make a list of what you owe and to whom you owe it on a piece of paper. You're going to list it out, write it down. This is who I owe. This is how much I owe. If you feel guilty, if you feel bad, whatever, I don't care. If you feel scared, if you feel like throwing up, go and throw up and come back and continue, okay? You're not going to die. I promise you won't die. And if you do, then you're out of debt. So just joking. Okay. So, when you are done listing all of your debts, you're going to put them, if you have an altar, use your altar. If not, find a little special place that's close to your prosperity candle, and it can be over onto another side where you do the rest of your work. That's fine. You're going to put the paper with the list of all of your debts, and you're going to put another paper on top of it. And on this piece of paper, you are going to draw your prosperity symbol. And this is all in your handout. And the following words, you're going to say, all my obligations are now promptly paid. With love and joy and gratitude, to rest they now are laid. And you can just chant that while you're making your list if you want to. All my obligations now are promptly paid. With love and joy and gratitude, to rest they now are laid. All my obligations now are promptly paid. With love and joy and gratitude, to rest they now are laid. Okay? You're just going to keep, you're going to keep that paper on top of your list of debts with the prosperity symbol and that little chant, right? And you're going to chant this aloud while staring at the prosperity symbol for several minutes with your prosperity candle burning. Okay? You think you feel guilty because you owe a lot of money. I assure you, you owe a lot of money because you feel guilty. That bears repeating. You think you feel guilty because you have a lot of debts, but I assure you, you have a lot of debts because you feel guilty. That's how it works. So what you're going to be doing, all of us debtors are going to be making a list of everything that you can think of for which you feel guilty. You're going to be doing a similar thing to your banishing spell, but this is specific to debts. Make a list of everything you can think of about which you feel guilty. And then you're going to list everything you can think of that you resent in other people. Do your best to be as complete as possible. It's okay. You can do it next month too until you're free of this. And once you've done that, you look at the list of all the things you feel guilty about, all the people that you resent, and you just burn it. And you say, all that has offended, now or in the past, I forgive and let it go. Only peace can last. Chant that over and over again while you're burning it, or tearing it up if you don't want to burn it. And continue doing this every few days, at least until the waning moon is over, in addition to your other waning moon work. Because until you can get rid of resentment and guilt, you won't get rid of debt. Debt is a manifestation of resentment and guilt. It's just a natural way of manifesting that. So it's very difficult to remain in debt when you've gotten rid of the clutter, you've organized your life, and you've gotten rid of resentments and guilts. You are going to notice that you tend to clear up those debts spontaneously by doing that. Now, in addition to this, I've given you a meditation called the Debt Eraser. It's not quite the same as the one I used to have on the free podcast. It's similar, but this one's a little bit more intensive to this class. And it's a good one to listen to if you have a lot of debts. Just keep working on it. You can listen to it as much as you feel comfortable. And it's going to clean it all out for you. And it's not going to take a lot of effort on your part. It's not that you won't have to pay the debts, but you're going to notice that it becomes fun to pay the debts, and that it's easy to pay the debts, and the debts start to disappear, and you don't worry about the debt so much because you know it's being taken care of. Okay? So we're going to get you out of debt this month, even if it's only in your mind, because sometimes it takes a little while before the physical universe to start reflecting what's in your mind. But you're going to really want to work on that. Okay, any questions about the debt or anything else we talked about?
It's Willow.
Hi.
Okay, so you hit a soft spot in my heart when you were talking about the people who we resent.
Okay.
Without telling you too much history, there is a person, an ex-husband that it's very hard to get rid of this, and I've worked on it, and I think I'm doing good, and then I think, okay, all that's gone, and I forgive, and blah blah blah. But then he does something that hurts my child, and then that brings it all back up.
Right.
So, any suggestions on that? Because this has been going on for 8 years.
Yeah. You're not, in forgiving him, you are not condoning the behavior. But you are going to start thinking of him when you do this as a small child who's very unruly, or a puppy who's chewing up all of your favorite things. Even though it's really annoying and it drives you crazy, you're not wishing him into the cornfields anymore. So you're not condoning his behavior, but you are not condemning his spirit to hell. Do you see the difference? You're not condoning what he's doing, and you definitely still have to put up the right kind of boundaries, and even if you have to get things like, even people that have restraining orders can do that and still forgive the person. Forgiveness means giving up the resentment, giving up the toxicity within your own aura, within your own body, within your own mind that's causing negative experiences within your body and life. So when we resent people, what we're doing is they're in charge of us while we're resenting them. They're completely 100 in charge 100% in charge. So you do your best. You do your best. I we all have those in our lives. We all have those people that, I understand theoretically I'm supposed to forgive you, but I hate you because you live.
Right.
Yeah. So those are the ones that are for whatever reason have been put upon our path so that we can find more skill in this.
Right. And you say, thank you for being a teacher and teaching me how to forgive.
That's right.
But
That's exactly right.
so it's okay though. I mean, if that's reoccurrent, then I'm just like, okay, I've got to do this again. It's not that something I'm doing wrong of why it keeps coming back, because he's got free will as well.
Right. It's not. It's not. But you can start doing magic to protect yourself from that person. And the way you protect is not putting up a boundary. It's actually every time you think of that person, you are going to bless them out of your life. You're going to bless them out of your life. You're not hexing them out of your life. You're blessing them out of your life. You are looking at them and just saying, regardless of your behavior, regardless of what you're doing to me or what you think you're doing to me, I now take away all power to harm, and I think of you only as a spiritual individual. So what you can do is you can do you have any sense do you have any words that you use for a higher power, any name that you use for a higher power?
No, I'm kind of like that one. It's just like they're spirits. It's
Okay.
God and Goddess, but I just haven't given them like.
Oh, that's fine. So and you can't invoke the god without the goddess, and you can't invoke the goddess without the god. So it's okay if you do one or the other. You don't have to do them both together, or you can, either one. But just think about that. Whatever just dear God or dear goddess, whatever, whatever you feel like your higher power is. I'm now giving this to you. I am now giving this to you. And every time that this person crosses my mind, I'm not thinking of them anymore. I'm thinking of you.
Okay.
And that's the discipline. Even no matter how bad it gets, you're going to just say, "Oop, I'm giving this back to goddess," and just she has this person, and I'm not going to even think about this person anymore. I'm going to think about goddess instead. That is an act of forgiveness right there, because forgiveness means giving up. You're giving up the habit of resentment. You're giving it up. So every time you start resenting, just you don't have to like make a big deal out of it. You just say, "I'm giving this over to goddess. I'm giving this to the goddess," because you're not relinquishing responsibility. You're accepting responsibility when you do that. You're not relinquishing responsibility when you give something back to spirit. You're accepting responsibility because you're spirit too, and their spirit too. So if you're just taking responsibility to put your focus back on where the causative plane is. The causative plane is in the spiritual world, not in the physical world. The physical world is the result of the spiritual world. So every time you're looking at their behavior, you're looking at something that's happened already in the past. So if instead of looking at that, you start looking at the goddess or whatever you call it, you start looking at spirit, and you keep saying, I am now going to focus my mind entirely on spirit instead of their behavior, they really get to a point where they can't hurt you anymore, and their behavior will change.
Okay.
It
Thank
has
you. I
it
appreciate that.
absolutely has to change. But you have to be extremely disciplined. And every time you start going back into that resentful spot, do whatever you have to do. If you have to get out a piece of paper and start writing down affirmations, or doing lists of reasons why why everything's okay in your life, or whatever you have to do. If you have a chant, I like my forgiveness chant. All that has offended now and in the past, I forgive and let it go. Only peace can last. That's what I do. I don't even. That's how I give it back. I
Okay.
completely diffuse. I completely diffuse the situation by not even engaging mentally or emotionally with it.
Yeah, I think that you did the podcast about saying something nice about him, and I've even done that like to my son. I always try to say nice things about him, even though I'm thinking in my head of all the other things. But then I try to just bless him with nice thoughts,
It's it's okay to
especially if,
it's okay to
especially when it
fake it
makes
till you
sense.
make it.
What?
It's okay to fake it till you make it, like that. It really is okay to act as if, but you can want to go to a little bit farther when you're not in the situation. You know what I mean? It's when you're not in the situation and you're just doing your own spiritual work. Look at the fact that, I mean, if you have any debts in your life, it's actually a good thing, because it'll give you a catalyst for saying, oh, wait a minute, this is not worth this debt. My resentment is not worth this debt. Or my illness is not worth this resentment. Or this resentment is not worth my illness. Whatever negative experiences you're having, start looking at it as a manifestation of your resentment. And that gives you so much more enthusiasm about letting it go, because you realize, okay, every time I participate in that, I'm actually keeping whatever this other thing is in place. And bills and debts are very, very much a breeding ground for resentments, and so is things like cancer and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and debt and health issues tend to happen spontaneously and simultaneously. So, so people think that that they're upset about their debts, but they have debts because they're upset.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
I just thought that maybe there was something wrong. Why it just keeps coming back, and I'm like, I've let it go.
You have to get to the point where you don't engage.
Right.
Have you ever been around a person who's really mentally unstable and they repeat themselves over and over and over again, and you're trying to have a conversation with them, but they keep repeating the same? No, there's some people that and finally you realize, oh, wait a minute, they're incapable of understanding what I'm saying. So me engage, or a drunk person. If somebody's really drunk and you're trying to have a conversation with them, and they keep saying the same thing in a loop over and over again, you finally get to the point where you think, oh, I can't talk to them, they're drunk, and you stop engaging with them, and you just leave them out, and you just leave. You check out in your mind. That's what we do with these people that we resent. We forgive them, and we literally let them go, no matter what their behavior. And even though the behavior might not have caught up with it yet, you still keep up with it, and pretty soon they can't. They will move away. They will leave your life. It always resolves itself.
Yeah, I just keep telling myself my son's gonna be 18 soon. It'll be okay.
Yeah, don't wait till then. If you can really let go of it and give it up, he will stop bothering you.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, now Hannah had bunch of stuff to say, and I can't read it all. And blah blah blah. Okay. Oh, here it is. I worry about banishing during money spells because I worry about how it will manifest. Example, I banished my daughter's college tuition before Christmas. Well, to make a long story short, before the holiday, she decided that she was now an adult, and she made some choices that we didn't approve of, moved in with her boyfriend, etc. My husband and I made the decision to cut her off financially, which included paying for her tuition. The spell worked in a way, but I feel like it caused a rift between my daughter and my husband. No, not at all. That's between your daughter and your husband. Your magic didn't create that rift. It may have brought it to light, but if that was going to happen, it was going to happen anyway. So your spell did not do that. Just like when somebody does a money spell and somebody dies and leaves them a bunch of money, if you're doing money spells like we're doing them with this much light energy and the way that we're working, you're not manipulating situations, not at all. You're creating out of the causative plane. If somebody dies and leaves you a bunch of money, they were going to die anyway. You didn't cause them to die, but they may or may not have thought about leaving you that money, and maybe they decided to, or they got their will together, and it was for the highest good of all, because that's what you've stated. And the fact that they left you money doesn't mean you killed them or that you did something wrong. People die, and when people die, they leave money to other people. And if you did a money spell and somebody died and you got rather a good a payment because of that, it's not because you did something bad. It's because things all worked out well. So the fact that your daughter did that doesn't mean that your spell had negative ramifications. That was going to happen anyway. But the fact is that since that was going to happen anyway, your spell keyed into to how it was going to manifest financially for you. That's all. That's all. So how can I banish bills without losing something precious like my job, my car, etc.? You're not banishing bills, you're banishing debt. You don't want to banish bills. You want to pay bills. If you're banishing debt, meaning that you're banishing the negative emotional toxic energy which causes indebtedness. Now there's two types of indebtedness. There's a type of indebtedness which is actually fiscally responsible indebtedness, where you're everybody it's fine to carry debt. There's nothing wrong with that. But the kind of debt that makes you just like, I can't, I can't get up in the morning and I can't sleep well because I don't know how I'm ever going to dig myself out of this hole. That is not spiritually minded indebtedness. And that kind of indebtedness is what we're talking about as far as letting go of the resentments and letting go of the bills. Now, again, when we listed all those debts, we didn't just say that we were going to go bankrupt. We actually stated that all of the obligations were going to be paid in the perfect way. So that could mean that you get more money. That could mean that that you get some kind of refund that you didn't know. That could be that you just become more focused about how you budget your money every month. I mean, it could manifest in a million different ways. You never know how it's going to work, but they will get paid. Now, we're not asking you to banish your bills. We're asking you to banish your poverty. We're asking you to banish your blocks to prosperity. You want to pay your bills. Bills are beautiful things. If you have a bill, it means that you're getting something and then you're paying for it. You don't get something for nothing. You get an electric bill. That means that you've had wonderful electricity in your home. Resenting the electric bill is not going to do anything for you other than make it hard for you to pay that bill. Instead, you learn how to bless the electric bill, and you pay for it as it comes in or when you can. Now, if you are having more bills than you can pay for every month, then that's something that you need to look at banishing. It's not the bills that you're banishing. You're banishing your debt cycle. You're banishing your poverty cycle. You're banishing the energy that is in place that is keeping your means below your needs. So, and those are all in place inside your deep mind, and you've got to unravel the thought system that keeps those in place. But you're not banishing your bills. You're paying your bills. We bless our bills. And what happens is when you're first starting this stuff and you barely have enough money to get from month to month to month, it can be really difficult. I understand this. So what you learn how to do is you learn, again, how to bless what you have on hand and pay the best you can and claim a return. Every dollar I send on its ride comes back to me multiplied. Every dollar that I spend comes back to me times 10, right? And you just keep that going, and you have the faith and the expectancy and the chutzpah to just spend the money that you have on hand and bless it and know that it's coming back to you. That's what we do. And that comes to my next section here. Oh my goodness, I've got a lot more to... No, I don't. No, good. We're doing well. I thought I had another page and a half. I'm like, geez, how are they ever going to get all this done? Remember, you have 2 weeks to do this, so don't worry about it. And you know what? If you have to prioritize as best you can. This next one is as you go. This is not something that you have to incorporate any extra time. It's called Eliminate All Fear, Panic, and Worry About Money. That's what we do, okay? So what you're going to be doing, and you don't only do this on the waning moon, but you're going to start this practice during the waning moon, and you're going to keep it up for the rest of your life. The instant that you notice a fear or negative thought about money, you immediately reverse it with some kind of incantation or affirmation. Just have something on hand that you've memorized that really works. Mine is all my needs are met at every time. Sorry, all my needs are met at every place and time. I have trust in spirit pure, its power is sublime. All my needs are met at every place and time. I have trust in spirit pure, its power is sublime. Or you can just say an affirmation like, I give thanks that all my financial and other needs are instantaneously met now and at all times. Just find some sort of affirmation or chant that immediately negates your fear. I'm like, oh my gosh, the money, I won't have enough money to pay that bill. That bill is going to be paid perfectly. I give thanks that all my financial and other needs are instantaneously met at all times, and that bill will be paid in perfect time. I always have more money than I need. So you just have to do it. If you have a negative thought or fear coming to you 1,000 times in an hour, you negate it 1,000 times in that hour with that statement over and over and over again. Because worrying about money will not get anything better. It actually will increase things to worry about. Somehow we think, well, if I worry enough, then at least I'm being responsible. No, you're not. If you worry enough, you're going to have more to worry about. Now, we're not telling you to just, don't worry, be happy, and just skip off and don't pay your bills. No, we're not saying that. We're saying that all my needs are now instantaneously met at every place and time. And I'm claiming this. Every dollar that I spend comes back to me times 10. I'm claiming this. I am telling the situation how it's going to be now. It's not that you don't want to pay your bills. You want to pay your bills. Everybody likes to pay their bills. It's fun to pay your bills if you have money, right? There's nothing not fun about paying your bills if you have plenty of money. So you want to have plenty of money. You're not trying to be irresponsible. You're trying to be responsible. Well, there's no way that you're going to be responsible if you're always in panic and fear about money and tense and upset and ruminating over what's going to happen and the next bad thing that's coming along the pike, and they're going to foreclose on my house, and then they're going to turn off my gas, and they're going to turn off my electric, and blah, 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 blah. The more you do that, the more you're going to be right. Stop it. Put the brakes on immediately and say, nope, that's going to get paid. Every need of mine, financial and otherwise, is met instantaneously. I am always well cared for. Just like the sun cares for the flower, just like the earth revolves around the sun, just like a seed grows into a plant, I am now cared for. And the reason is because I said so. I decided that this is so. And you keep reminding yourself of that over and over and over again. You keep doing your orb of light. You keep doing all of this stuff every day. Keep working all of this stuff all the time, but do not let yourself get into fear, panic, and worry about money, because all that's doing is undoing all the good stuff you're doing. Just stop it. And if it seems like you can't get out of it, just keep at it. Keep responding. Feel one incantation or one affirmation that is negating that, and just keep at it over and over and over and over until you get a sense of relief. And what's going to happen is all of a sudden there's going to be a little, like somebody was asking this the other day about something, and sometimes you don't get the showers of millions of dollars just raining down upon your head, but you will get like a little branch, which means land will be coming soon. And you'll get more and more of those. And pretty soon you'll see land. And then pretty soon you will land. And you will see that where you've landed is the land of prosperity. And you just keep at it. You keep at it. But if you don't do that, you're just going to be stuck and you're going to be lost at sea for the rest of your life. So don't allow yourself to get into panic about money. Don't do it. You've got to keep at it no matter what. If your mind says, "Oh, you're being irresponsible by not worrying," you just say, "All my needs are now instantaneously met." You just or whatever your thing is, whatever your chant is. All my needs are met at every place and time. I have trust in spirit pure. Its power is sublime. So you're trusting in the spiritual power, which is the causative plane, to create the means by which you can pay your bills. And so when your deep mind starts going, "Oh, no, it's not going to work. It's not going to work," you're telling it what the truth is. And you're reprogramming that piece of computer, that little computer program. You're deleting the file that says no, and you're putting in the new file that says yes, 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 yes. And just like the sun will come up every morning, this will work. It always works. But don't negate your magic by getting into these fear cycles. Just stop it. Don't worry if it comes up, if those fears come up, but don't allow them to plague you. Don't scare yourself. Don't nag yourself. Don't look over your shoulder. When is it happening? When is it happening? When is it happening? What that means is you have no faith in your magic. If you're worrying about your bills, then you have no faith in your magic. And what is one of the cornerstones of the witch's pyramid? Faith. So if you don't have that, then it won't work. So you have to use each moment to reinstall that faith by telling those fears, stop. It's all working out. I'm doing my magic. It's working out. Calm down, chill out. Right? If you start that practice right away, you'll keep it up, and pretty soon you won't need to do it so much because you'll notice that it becomes habitual, and as that becomes habitual, then your magic has a place to manifest, and you won't have anything to worry about anymore financially. Oops. Any questions, or anybody need help with that one?
Can I just say thank you?
Sure,
Ariel?
sure.
That's what I needed to hear. Yeah.
We all need it sometime.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Everybody's in the same boat, but it's the truth that if you're freaking out, you are in a place of poverty, and all you're going to do is get more poverty. So freaking out isn't going to help you. It's actually the opposite. It's going to harm you. Peaceful, quiet thinking is what will change results. You don't change results by fighting with yourself violently. You just silently relax and insistently respond to those worries with your affirmation or your incantation. And you just let them dissolve as they will. All right. In addition to taking care of all these fears and worries that may be occurring, also don't allow yourself to look at something and think, "Oh, I can't afford that," or "Oh, I'll never be able to have that," or "Wouldn't that be great, but boy, that's too expensive." Don't do that. What do? You write it down into your goals. Be fearless and bold about writing it down on your list of goals, and be a little bit more bold and by putting the date by which you expect it to manifest. When you're feeling broke, you get your little notebook, you dress up with the best clothes you have, and you go out to the nicest shopping center in town, even if you have to drive somewhere, wherever you have really expensive, wealthy people shopping, wherever the most expensive stores are, and you go through that store and you take your little notebook and you start writing down, "Oh, I want one of those," and you start writing down what the model number is and what the price is, and you just take some notes, and you can choose later whether you really want them or not, but you just take some notes. And what's funny is people will see you doing that and you think, "Oh God, they're going to think I'm so weird." No, they're going to think that you're somebody. They might even give you like a cup of coffee or a drink, or like, can I show you something? They're gonna think that you're some reviewer or some secret shopper or something. But you're going, whenever you're feeling scared about money, that's when you go out and you start looking at, what do you want? You go to the car dealership, you take your little notebook with you, you start going to the car dealerships and you test drive all the cars that you really want, not the ones that you think you can afford, but the ones that you really, really want. I mean, it doesn't have to be a Rolls Royce, but I mean, if you want something nice and brand new, think about what you want and what kind of features you want, and start talking to them and test driving them, and make little notes about, and when you're talking to the dealer, to like, what is that called, and what are those features, and write it down, and what is the price on that, and and that's fine. And test drive those cars and write those things down. Whatever it is that you really want, don't say, I can't afford it. No, write it in your book and say, it's on its way and it's going to be here by this date. And you start working magic on it. That's what you do. You don't think in terms of, oh, I can't afford it. And it's funny because you think, well, they're going to turn off my gas in 6 days and I'm just driving a BMW. It kind of, it does kind of turn things on its head, but you'll notice when you do that the gas bill gets paid and you get probably a little more than you thought. And you're going to come up with a new idea for a second source of income, and you're going to come up with an idea about how you can get, maybe lower your expenses. Things are going to happen. You're going to get great ideas by doing this, and you're going to solve these issues. But you can't solve your problems with worry. You can't solve your financial problems by freaking out and worrying about how you're going to solve them. So you got to take a break from all that. Use each affirmation, take each worry as it comes up with an affirmation or with an incantation and dissolve it. And then also think about what you want. Not only, I want to pay all my debts. No, that's not a goal. That's not a goal to put on your thing. No, what do you want? You want to be, what you want to do, what you want to have. Rather than saying, I want to pay off all my debts, say, I want a credit score of 840. I want a net worth of $350,000 in 2 years. That right away, that means all your debts are paid. People with a net worth of $350,000 with a credit score of 840 don't have debts that are out of sync with what's coming in. That's how that works. But if you start thinking about, I want to pay off my debts, all you're doing is thinking about debts. I want to pay my bills. All you're doing is thinking about bills. Right? So you start, if your bills aren't getting paid, list the bills that need to be paid and write like you did with the debts, write your symbol and write that affirmation or that chant that you're grateful that they're being paid in full and on time and you've taken care of it. And then you move on. Make any sense? All right. We've got about 25 minutes, and I've kind of done it here with my course. So I would like to help you if there's anything that you need help with, or anything in your own case that I might be able to help you get through, or any problems that you're having, because I'm fairly good at this stuff. You may as well take advantage of me.
Hi, Ariel. It's Puck.
Hi, Puck. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Did you get the call back that you were looking for, or the email back?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good.
Yes,
Okay,
I did.
good.
Thank you
Sure.
so much.
Sure.
So helpful. And I mean to write you back about it.
Oh, sure. You may have, but I can't remember.
I will.
Yeah.
No, I did. I got it, and it was extremely helpful. And this is a totally other thing that is also a good thing, that I wanted to have you just sound back on, which is that I'm curious about how we know. This is sort of a general question, then I'll give you the specific. But generally, I guess I'm curious how we know when the things that we're doing, like all the work that we're doing right now around prosperity, when do we know when the things that are coming back to us are actually as a result of the magical work, or if they're just sort of these things that come up that maybe I need to say no to. So here's the example. I was trying to take the entire summer off. The work I do lets me do that, and I was going to try to take the summer off and do my creative work that I've been talking to you about more privately. And I got a call a couple of days ago for a very lucrative job that's only like 5 days long, but I made a promise to myself to take the summer off. So I'm a little unsure as to how to negotiate that with myself and my magical work. Like, I don't necessarily need the money, but it's a lot of money, and we've been doing a lot of money work, so I don't know. Is this the kind of thing with the chocolate brown Mercedes that I've heard you talking about for years, that when you do the spell, you kind of can't say no to the thing?
Well, that's a good question, and the thing about that is that you can't always say that once. Uh-oh. Let's mute ourselves here. I'm going to mute you. I'm going to mute you, and then you can unmute if you have more to ask. You can't always say one size fits all with that. Sometimes what happens is you think what you want is blah blah blah, but then you do a spell for blah blah blah, and then something happens, and it's like, oh, okay, now I have to make a choice. Now I have to make a choice. Do I want the extra money, or do I want to take the time off? Because, I did the spell, and it kind of obviously has come to fruition, but I also wanted to take the time off. So you have some choices to make. You can either say, okay, I'm not going to take the time off because I want the money, or you can say, wait a minute, I don't think I was clear enough. I want the money and I want to take the summer off. So if that's really what it is, I want the money and I want to take the summer off, then you it's like sending your steak back if it's not, unless you're a vegetarian, obviously, but sending your food back if it's not cooked properly. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not being ungrateful by saying, oh, thank you very much, but what I said was, or what I meant was, or what I really wanted was, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can send it back and say, let's redo this. I want it differently. So you have to make a choice there, whether you feel like, okay, this is actually a good thing. I thought I wanted this, but now I got this, and this is actually better. Or you can say, close, but it's not quite what I wanted. Let's try this again, and do your spell over again. I mean, that's really up to you. Either way is fine. Does that make sense? Oh, I muted you. Let me unmute you. Does that make sense?
It absolutely makes sense. Thank you so much. It does, and that's something that's been confusing me for a while now. So I haven't necessarily understood that idea that it's like the food metaphor, that I could send it back.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not like the universe is some sort of parental figure that's going to say, now you will do it the way I give it to you. It's more like getting clear for yourself. You might not have been clear enough with what you wanted. Right. You might have been at odds with yourself. But you could, I would take some time and just really think about it, though, because you don't want to just negate it if it's actually for your highest good either. So I would take some time and just really and really make a choice. What I do is I take my left hand and I put, I'm gonna do the summer job or whatever it is, and in my right hand I'm going to redo the spell because I'm going to take the whole summer off, and then whichever one is right will rise up into the air right now, and then whatever one rises up into the air is the truth.
Okay.
And that's great. You just have to know that your deep mind is going to tell you which one is what you really want. You know what I'm saying? The other thing you can do if you want something more pragmatic, which is also very good, is you can take out a piece of paper and write a line down the middle and put pros and cons. The pros of one doing one thing, or the pros of doing the other thing, or the pros of one thing and the cons of that one thing, and list them out and see which one makes the most sense to you. That's another way of doing the same thing. It's just not as fast, but it can be a little bit more. Feel a little bit safer for some people that want to be more pragmatic about it, but it's doing the same thing.
Right. That makes so much sense.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
You're
and
welcome.
I just wanted to put in a plug there for everyone about the spirit of money meditation. I thought that was a really incredible experience, and it really helped me with multiple areas beyond just money. I was able to really look at success too,
Wonderful.
which has been really, really, really helpful. A lot of deities showed up that I wasn't expecting to come
Excellent.
to the party.
Good.
they're
I'm
there.
glad.
Yeah.
Good. Thank
Very
you so
cool
much.
stuff. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay, so speaking of which, there's 2 meditations this week that I gave you that are little extras. You might want to play with each one at least once, but then do them as much as you want. One of them is that debt eraser, and the other one is called the Ancient Flame. And yes, that meditation, guess what? You get a break from the orb of light.
Love my orb of light.
So that one does not have an orb of light, but it is extremely powerful meditation, and that is one you can use during any lunar phase, and you can use it anytime you want. But it's a good one for what we're doing, but it's also good for in general life. Okay. What else? Anybody else have anything I can help with or questions I can answer?
Ariel,
Yes.
this is Pandora again.
Hi.
I last weekend was panicking about things, and you told me what to do and everything, and I've got to say, it did help right away. I started having blessings right away. As soon as I started thinking along those frames of mind, instead of being stuck in the panic,
That's so great.
things happened immediately.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Isn't that great how it works?
Oh, my gosh.
I know.
Believe it.
I know. People think
I am so excited.
it's great.
My new frame of mind has been such a blessing, and thank you so much for your patience.
Oh,
with my
no, not at all. I know what you're going through. We've all been there. It's all right.
Oh, my goodness. It's awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh,
and it really helps. To anybody that's having that type of panic, do exactly what he said to do. I promise you. It happens right away.
That's so great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ariel.
That's great. All right. Who else has something that they would like to discuss before we end this call? We have some time, so feel free. Otherwise,
Hi, Ariel.
hi, who's this?
This is Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
Hey, so I know today was focusing a lot on stresses about money,
Yes.
but I really don't have a lot of panic about money in my life. I mean,
That's wonderful.
I don't have a lot of expenses. I make all my payments. I have debt that I'd like not to have, but it's never really like a panic-inducing thing.
Sure.
And I'm just wondering if there are any extra things we can do to sort of, I don't know, good goals if you don't have the panics or worries about money. Like
That's wonderful if you don't have them. But you can still use the sections on eliminating that which you do not want. So things that you want to eliminate, you can really, you have a lot to do this next 2 weeks of just working the waning magic on eliminating what you don't want from your life. Also cleaning up the clutter, making vacuum for the what your goals are from the waxing moon to manifest, all that stuff. You still have plenty to do even if you don't have a lot of panic about money, which is great that you don't. And then if you want to work on the debt elimination, you can still do that. Because the in your homework and also the meditation, that is not necessarily people freaking out about debt. It's just debt in general. That if there's extra debt that you need to get paid or you would like to get paid, this is the way to do it. And debt tends to, like I said, what's the best way to say this? The environment of guilt and resentment tends to be fertile ground for debt. That's a good way of saying that. So you may want to look and see if there is something about yourself that needs forgiving, or releasing of guilt, and also resentments of other people. That's always just kind of good. It's sort of normal just in being alive to have some guilt and resentments. It's just sort of like, sort of like you have to take a shower every day. It's sort of normal that you need to do that. Life is messy, life is dirty. So it's just a good thing to do anyway. But one of the reasons why we do it in this class is because it does help us clear away the obstacles for our financial prosperity to manifest. And it also helps to clear away the energy patterns around things like debt. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. I think mostly I just need to be working on being slightly more disciplined with my money. I tend to have a decent bit of money I can play with that I could probably use more sensibly to pay off some of my debts.
Or maybe bring in some more money so that you can still have enough money to have all the fun with, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah,
work on getting more income streams.
Yeah, because what happens too is people. One of the things that makes sense logically that a lot of people talk about when they deal with financial stuff is, well, what you need to do is be more disciplined about how you're budgeting, but there's always this tacit implication that you need to stop having so much fun and just get down to business and just be more responsible. And I don't agree with that perspective. I say you can do both. You can be responsible and have the extra too, and to have the fun stuff. And that's what I think is real prosperity is to be able to have both.
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel prosperous. When I want something, I tend to buy it. Like it tends to give the impression to other people that I have more money than I really do.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's always fun. Like, oh, you're rich, Dan. I'm like, oh gosh, no.
Well, that's
no,
great. Not. That's great. If you can buy what you want when you want it, then you're pretty rich, regardless of what the actual numbers in the bank account say. And that's a good place to be. And just as you keep expanding on that then you'll have even more ability and more resources to do even greater things. And I think that's wonderful. You're in a really good place.
All right, thank you.
Good job. Who else? I'm muting one of you that's unmuted just in case. So I'm not trying to be rude. I'm trying to keep everybody muted that's not talking so we don't get weird feedback. Anybody else have anything that they need to ask or say before we end the call? We have about 10 minutes that we can use if you'd like it. Otherwise, we can end the call early. It's up to you.
Are you going to be doing another class soon, or?
Oh, that's a good question. The problem I'm having is I want to do another long class, like a 6 or 8 week class, but I can't do that until the fall because I'm going to be gone for a couple weeks at the end of July and the beginning of August. So I may have time to do another small class, and I'm just not sure yet. I'm going to try to figure that out this week, and then I'll send out an announcement if there is a new class through the newsletter. Do you get my newsletter? I've only sent one out, but
I do get it. But
Okay.
that's what I was trying to figure out, if I should go ahead and start my Beyond Basics, or do I need to wait on you because you were fixing to start something and I didn't want to start Beyond Basics?
The Beyond the Basics is a really good class just to get beyond the basics anyway. I would probably do it just because there's chances are I won't be able to do much for the summer. The chances are pretty strong that we won't do that. I just haven't decided what we're going to do when we do the longer class. There were several requests. Probably if I did a Beyond the Basics 2 type class, it would be working with more beyond the basic stuff. Like we'd be doing more of the stuff like astral projection and maybe angelic magic stuff like that. But I'm not sure yet what that'll look like, because I have to think about it. I want to make sure that it makes sense as far as carrying it forward in a logical manner, so that it actually builds on what the last class started. So also the other thing too is it'd be nice if we could do it so that that it builds on the Beyond the Basics one, but if somebody took it on its own, it could still be a standalone. I'm just not sure. I have to get my head around all that.
Cool. That's cool. And then I want to plead openly. I've emailed the DCW and everything, and they said that they don't have any chapters out this way.
Oh.
But I want to say that you guys really need to look at doing something like the OBOD does or something.
The problem is that we have a different initiatory system as OBOD. They don't have a tradition like we do. They've kind of created a tradition. And our tradition is, and I love OBOD. I think it's a wonderful. I've taken their courses, but our tradition is an initiatory path, and you need to be initiated in person. And there's successive initiations that kind of happen before you can get onto the next bunch of lessons. So we've tried to do a correspondence thing, but then the person has to fly out to Southern California, get initiated, then they go and then they work a little bit, then they have to fly out and get another initiation, and it just hasn't seemed to work. So we haven't figured that one out yet, because there's I'm not. The tradition is what it is. I'm not in any position to change the way we do things. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's sort of the way it is. So that's kind of why I'm doing these classes, to fulfill a need for magical education in a non-initiatory and non-denominational type of way, so that people can still, get the some of the juice of what we do without the religious aspect of it so much. So it's hard.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I appreciate that. Can you tell me again the name of that book that you had said in one of the podcasts for, it's the Hermetics, like Hermetics 101, but that's not the name of it.
Oh, Initiation into Hermetics?
Is that what it is? You said it's a big book and it's kind of heavy reading.
It's really tough. Yeah. it's hard. Yeah. Initiation into Hermetics by France Bardone. It's if you can get through all of those exercises, you do not need me.
Well, I was thinking about getting that book because I don't have you.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That is one of the densest, most difficult initiatory paths I've ever been on, and it's very good. Some of his stuff, I think, could be done in a different manner, but really, if you're going to do his path, you really should do it his way.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's not a witchcraft path. It's more of a hermetic high magic path, but it's a good one. It's very good. It's just very difficult. It's like it's for people that want to become adepts, and it's no nonsense. It's really he doesn't take any prisoners. It's really tough.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you doing these classes for us.
My pleasure.
And I will go back and get Beyond Basics, and then I'll be all caught up.
I would start with that anyway, because I think probably what's going to happen is we'll do a Beyond the Basics 2. Is probably what's going to happen, unless I get a huge amount of requests for a different type of class.
Cool. Thank you. I really appreciate you.
Sure. My pleasure. Thank you. Anybody else?
Oh, again, quick
Hi.
comment.
Yes.
If you're taking suggestions and you'd like something for maybe a shorter class,
yes,
a perfect mate class might be kind of cool.
Oh yeah, sure.
Just a thought.
I'm a good one to teach that. I've had my perfect mate for a long time, and it happened through a spell I did. Yeah, no relationships and perfect mate. That would be a good one. Yeah, That would be a good one. Yeah, I'll definitely look at doing that. We'll probably get it done regardless, because that's a good one to do. The other one that people seem to want to do is health, health magic and things for healing stuff. So that's another one we could do. All right. Well, unless anybody has anything else, I think we'll end the call and we'll end this particular class. I guess we're done. Okay, well, let's take a moment and close our eyes. And we are on top of that mountain in our sacred grove with our sacred bonfire blazing forth. And we are lit by this beautiful golden light. And we are grateful for the time that we've been able to spend together. And we dedicate our lives to our own growth, our own becoming. And part of that is our own prosperity. And every day we are more and more grateful for all the opportunities that we have. Thank you very much. Together we say blessed be. All right. Well, it's been a pleasure, and I thank you so much for being on this in this course. And I'm gonna go ahead and unmute everybody, and we can say goodbye.
Goodbye, magical friend.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.
All right. This has been great. And we will see everybody at the next class. Blessed be.